Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Trevon?
Oh, can you hear me?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Sorry about
Oh
that.
yeah, there we go. All good.
Sorry about that. I was muted.
All
It was
good.
me. Can you hear
How's your
me?
day going? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Sounds good, my man. No, yeah, my day's going great actually. What about yours?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain.
There you go, there you go. Any midterms, anything like that coming up right now or what?
No, I had a big midterm project last Friday, and it was worth like 300 points. So I was a little nervous, but now that that's out the
Okay,
way, I'm good till finals week.
there you go, there you go. No, yeah, that's
How'd your
awesome, man.
midterm go?
It actually went pretty good. I had it this morning. Um,
Okay.
I felt pretty confident about it. It's actually something that I was, I felt really good on, at least for like Econ 121 and Econ 100.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that kind of threw me off was like the elasticities, but I just kind of studied that up last night. Felt a little better with it today, but yeah, I mean, hopefully everything went good. But I mean, I felt pretty
Sounds good.
confident. I felt pretty confident when I was taking the test. So yeah,
That always helps. Yeah.
let's hope I get a good score. But
Sounds good.
yeah, I mean, man, you're from Stanford, right?
Yeah. I
That
go to Stanford. I'm a junior now, so
Oh, okay. You're a junior.
yep.
Have you been going there like since freshman year?
Yeah. Freshman to junior year. I've been
Okay,
in
okay.
California at Stanford the whole time.
Hey, there you go, my man. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Maryland, so
Oh, really?
long journey.
What part? Baltimore?
No. I actually live in it's called Rockville, Maryland. It's near
Rockville.
DC. Have you heard
Hmm.
of Montgomery County or anything like
Montgomery.
that?
I'm not too familiar with. I only know Baltimore and then like some little areas around there. I had a business trip over there. Like I think like what maybe like 5 6 months ago, and
Oh, okay.
so I flew out over there for the first time. Amazing over there. It's just something I don't like. It's super humid over there in the summer,
No,
and
it's bad.
and
It's
it was
bad.
really humid. I was like just
It's
walking in
like
the street.
swampy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly like that. And I was like, man, what's up with this weather? I'm like, I was just sweating, just standing there. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
No, yeah, that's awesome, bro. But I mean, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I
you as
can
well.
obviously go in, introduce myself a little bit. But I mean, before we get started, I kind of just wanted to share with you. I don't want this to be like an interview type of thing. I'm just trying to get to know you.
Mhm.
Seeing if our goals or values align. So I don't want you to be all like super formal. You could be friendly with me. But
Sounds good.
yeah, I mean, it's awesome to finally meet you. I'm kind of curious though. Remind me of your major again.
I'm a bioengineering major.
Okay, bioengineering major, and then so I'm kind of curious. I mean, like, what about business interested you?
Uh, I work now. I'm a residential advisor for my dorm, so I kind of just watch over the dorm, and I'm the
Mm-hmm.
dorm treasurer. So
Hmm.
I manage like around like $150,000 per year, which is pretty nice. And then
That
I
is nice,
also
yeah.
am the internal manager of it's called SSE, stands for Students Stanford Enterprises, but basically every club on campus is allotted a certain amount of money out of Stanford's budget every year, and we just budget every campus, every dorm. I mean, every club on campus's accounts. So
Mm.
I've been doing that since my freshman year. So I've always
Oh,
been
really?
involved. Yeah, and I kind of felt like I use like the real world to get like business experience, and then like the class world to like do a 3 hour lab or go into electronics and whatever else that I do in my major.
There you go, there you go. No, that's awesome, man. And I mean, that's also a lot of responsibility. I mean, as a freshman to be doing all that stuff, yeah, that's pretty nice, actually, my man. Yeah. So I mean, where did you go before Stanford? Like, what high school did you attend to?
I went to Georgetown Prep in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a part of Georgetown University, but they kind of branched off. So it's like baby Georgetown.
Hey, there you go, there you go. No, yeah, because I saw that I was like Georgetown. Probably, I'm like, wait, Georgetown University. I'm like, I'm familiar with that one
No.
too.
It has a lot of like a lot of the staff know each other there. It's pretty much like a feeder system type thing, but
Okay, okay.
it's its own high school.
No, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I mean, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And that's actually interesting. We said you're a biomedical engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I actually have a few business partners who actually are the same major as you. And they graduated with that. My friend and my close business partner, his name is Asadullah. He's actually a biomedical engineer, and he's working in that field right now. Um, More related to like I'd say like the I think like the health side of things. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean the reason why also why I like this business and let's say this mentorship is because it's not just for like business majors. Like yes, me, I'm a MBE, management, business, and economics, but this business is ultimately for anybody. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I can kind of go on, introduce myself a little bit. My name's Christopher Castañeda. I'm actually a second year, at the University of California, Merced. And, if I'm being completely honest with you right now, I was not the same person I was, 1 year ago today. My first year, into college, it was pretty hectic. I was hanging around people, smoking, drinking, partying, just doing a bunch of negative things. I mean, you don't seem like someone who would party, but I mean, I don't know if you have any experience with that. I mean, maybe you can maybe relate with me on how on that. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'd say just say overall, kind of growing up to like I have immigrant parents. My parents came from Mexico. Very young age. My mom was like 6, 7. My dad was like 17, and so I'd say just like having to like go through all that, always kind of be like in financial poverty. It's always like made me like try to like think of ways to want to make money and not really ask them because I knew we didn't have a lot growing up. Kind of growing up in places that weren't so I'd say like nice. Um, where are you staying at right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Like on campus?
Yeah, wait, are you like dorming on campus or are you live in like Palo
Yes, yes.
Alto?
I dorm on
Oh, you
campus.
dorm on campus? Okay, for sure, yeah. So are you familiar with like the Bay Area or no?
I've been to SF a couple times in Santa Clara.
Okay, okay, there you go. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I live like right above San Francisco, so like passing the bridge. Small city called like San Rafael, Novato. More up in like the North Bay. I kind of
Hmm.
grew up in like that area, and so I'd say kind of just going around, like growing up, I've always kind of surrounded myself with people who have just not really been the best for me. Kind of just been like in a negative association. People who really kind of just brought me down and not really uplifted me. But
Hmm.
because of that, like my mom realized that. She's like, Chris, like you're a good kid. You're doing good in school, this and that. But the people you surround yourself aren't the best. And it was hard for me to see that, growing up I wanted to fit in, be cool and, like, just try to fit in. So it's always kind of been like this like battle, like, within myself. But yeah, I know because I would hang around with, people who weren't, like, who didn't have like the best interest for me, actually, made me like I don't want to say it made me, but it just led me down a very negative path where I actually ended up getting arrested at the age of 15. And
Hmm.
so I say like experiencing that was like it was a really big shock because none of my friends at 15 pretty much I was like what, a freshman in high school, none of my friends you know had like were working, none of them had ever experienced that. And because of that I had a I'd say like I got a lot of responsibilities at a young age, and none of my friends really understood me, and none of my friends were really there for me like how they said they were, how I thought they would be for that, because my mom told me like, oh, if you jump off a bridge, are you like, if your friends do, are you gonna do it too? I'm like, no, mom, I'm not gonna do that. And pretty much where I'm going with this is that you know like going through, let's say, like those like experiences at a young age really kind
Hmm.
of shaped me up to like, who I want to be and who I am today. um because I actually read this like I read this quote. I feel like responsibility doesn't come with age, but it comes with uh sorry, I said it wrong. Maturity doesn't come with age, but with responsibility. And that really hit me because I was like, wow, at 15 years old, I was working already part time, going to high school, and just doing all these things, and then like I have like what 5 years experience of working since 15. And so it's like, man, I've been like having to do all these things. Why? Because of the mistakes I made. But
Hmm.
me personally, I feel like God does everything for a reason. I was
Yeah.
going at it, and like so my grandma told me was like, if you wouldn't be able to handle it, God wouldn't have done it to you. And so kind of just going through about it, I didn't even want to go to college. I'm being like super honest with you. I did not want to go to college. I saw my brother working 2 jobs. He was working day and night, and he got a nice BMW. I'm like, man, I want to be like my brother. I want to get that nice BMW. But what I didn't realize is that he drove that car to and from work. He
Yeah.
didn't enjoy it. And so I was like, man, what can I do that's different from that besides, like slaving to 2 jobs? And
Hmm.
so while I was in college, I took a course called Avid. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Um,
Hmm. No, I'm
yeah,
not.
it's like an advanced career readiness class, kind of helps you with like college and stuff like that. I only
Oh,
took
okay.
it because like my cousin was in it, and my family was like, "All right, your cousin's going places, you should do this too." And so I was like, "All right, you know what? Let me do it." I tried it out. That teacher saw something that I couldn't see in myself. She's like, "Christopher, you're really ambitious. You're very outgoing. You know, you should apply to college. I'm like, man, I don't want to apply to college. Like, like I don't even have the money for it. My family can't fund it. She's like, there's FAFSA. And I'm like, what is that? Like
Yeah.
I had no idea when it comes to college because my family's never gone to college. So I just did, like, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to go either. But, they really like walked me through the steps, applying, stuff like that. She's like, you know what? Apply to UCs. You have a 3.4 GPA. I'm like, everybody who is applying to UCs has like a 3.5 or higher. Like, I don't think I'm going to get in anywhere. She's like, Christopher, just do it. I'm like, oh, there's essays. I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to write the essays. That was that was what was stopping me the most. I'm gonna be honest. The essays, the 4 essays. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, Christopher, just do it. So I started doing it. You know, unfortunately, like, no colleges accept me besides UC Merced. And I was like, all right, you know what? I looked at the financial aid packages for every school. Yes, I liked SFSU. My girlfriend's currently going there right now. Yes, I like Sonoma State. It was very close to my house. But I was like, you know what? Let me step out of my comfort zone. Let me go in the middle of nowhere. 3 hours away from where I live. UC Merced,
Hmm. Yeah.
they offered me the best financial aid package. So I thought long term for my parents financially, they won't have to pay for it. If anything, I could just work out here. I can pay for my own college. So I've been doing that for the past 2 years. And I'd say it's been like the best, decision that I've made. Why? Because something that my teacher really pointed out, she's like, Christopher, even if you don't like college, it's not about so much about what you know, it's about who you know. And
Yeah.
so I started, just making these connections. I started networking with a bunch of people. And I mean, that's kind of, where I, like, how I, got this opportunity offered to me, starting my own business and, actually, going about, like college, also, being a business owner, also working and, still being able to manage my time and all these things. But,
Yeah.
I mean, actually, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to, just yap there for a lot. But
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
no, yeah.
You're
But I
good.
mean, that's a little bit about me. Just so you have like a little bit of like a reference point of like who I am, who's who you're speaking to. But yeah. Something else I actually forgot to mention was that I'd say like throughout like my first year in college, I know I did say I was going out partying a lot, doing things like that. Um, I'd say this business and this like I say like association that I'm part of now has really uplifted me in a positive way to a point where I've actually been sober for like 230 days now,
Oh
and
wow,
it's
congrats.
it's not because like we're like strict, oh, like um like they make you do it or like nobody
Yeah.
makes you, but ultimately it's up to me. Why? Because we just don't promote that stuff, if you want to on your own time. But when I started hanging around with people who have goals, values, and like a dream of what they actually want to do,
Hmm.
none of them really were, like addicted to all these things that I used to be addicted to. And so I'm like, all right, man, I really got to change my habits, flip the switch. So I started doing that. But my business partner, who who actually introduced me to the opportunity, he actually just joined the waiting room. I'd love to connect him with you. I feel like you guys would just hit it off. He's also a third year right now. He's going to currently SJSU, San Jose State University, and
Hmm.
he's actually helped me scale up and develop my business a lot. And yeah, I mean, I know I just love to connect him with you, Trevon.
Oh yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Let's see. All right, I just admitted him. Let's see. Tona, hello. I was just talking to Trevon right now on
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Is it Trevon? Trevon?
Oh, Trayvon. Yeah.
Trayvon. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I mean, I've been talking with Chris so far a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. He's been filling me in. He's been filling
Yeah,
me
I see that you met Chris. Are you a UC Merced student over there with him?
in. No, I'm a junior at Stanford.
Oh, Stanford. Okay. Wow. So how do you and Chris kind of know each other?
He messaged me on LinkedIn, and I don't know, it seemed kind of cool. So it's fun. I should
Okay.
hop on a Zoom with him.
Man, wow. Yeah, it's good to hear.
Mhm.
Okay. What are you studying over there at Stanford?
I study bioengineering.
Bioengineering. Okay. And what year are you in?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. Okay. I'm a junior as well right now, but I'm going to school over here in San Jose State.
Hmm.
And I'm studying in finance, so I'm not in the engineering type of field. So I mean, you said you're studying engineering. Can I ask why'd you pick biomedical engineering?
Yeah, my sister is actually getting her PhD in neuroscience, and we always kind of connected over science and STEM in general. And when I finally got to Stanford, I took this one class called Engineering One, and basically you just hear from a bunch of different engineering department heads. So you hear from mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, and the department head I liked the most was bioengineering. So
Oh wow.
he actually became my advisor. I meet with him all the time, and he kind of just tells me what to do. tells me what type of career I should have, and it's really helpful. So I kind of just picked it over my advisor and then kind of fell in love with it, but I really do enjoy bioengineering.
Okay, wow. So they've been helping you a lot, I see. So you kind of have a clear direction. And can I ask, like, what kind of career are you thinking on pursuing?
Yeah, I was telling Christopher as well. My ultimate goal is like to learn bioengineering in the school aspect, and then to apply my outside knowledge, such as like my different clubs that I run and different financial officer positions that I hold, into like the business world and kind of just merge the two. So my ultimate goal is like to be like on the financial side of like a biotech company.
Okay. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering, considering your background in engineering. What made you want to kind of sit down today, with Chris to talk a bit about business? Okay, yeah. So are you the type of guy, who wanted to start your own business before? Are you the type of guy, take on different types of side hustles?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like start my own business yet, just because I personally don't feel like I'm ready to do that. But like, I would also love to see like what goes into starting a business. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's great to hear, because kind of share a little bit on our side. What we're looking for is business partners, right? We're looking for people that we can rely on, go with the whole way to build kind of a long-term sustainable asset. Which is why I kind of asked if what kind of things have you done in the past, in terms of different ways to make money, different ways to diversify your income aside from your main job, right? So can I ask, have you worked before?
Yes, I actually have a couple jobs. I work as an internal manager for it's a group on campus called Stanford Student Enterprises, and basically we manage every club. Every club on campus has like a pot of money that they're allowed to use whatever for events and food and whatnot. So my entire group manages about 200 to 300 Stanford clubs on campus.
Okay, wow.
And I also work as a RA.
An RA?
Yeah, I was going to say I work as a RA. It's a residential advisor.
Yeah,
I'm the like dorm treasurer.
Yeah, so on campus.
We get a lot of money per year. So it's a lot more managing of assets.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great to hear. Yeah, I heard from a few of my friends that were RAs. What was the experience like for you?
It's actually been really, really fun. Like I couldn't imagine. Like it's a lot more money than I thought that Stanford would give per dorm, if that makes sense. So you're allowed to do a lot more activities, order food, like than I thought. Like for example, our budget for every we have like these things called on-call activities, and basically they just kind of you're allowed to buy food every Friday and Saturday, and our budget for those are around like $600.
Okay,
so it's like and we have 10-week quarters, so it adds up a lot more than I thought.
Wow, that sounds great. That sounds great.
Yeah.
We'll love to reap the benefits there. Okay, yeah. So that's kind of what you've done, on the work side of things. Any different type of, like I mentioned before, side hustle or things you did aside from your main thing?
Yeah, nothing like that. I worked internships and stuff in the past. Like even this summer, I'm working at if you heard of FICO, the credit score company. I'm working on their business operations team, but I've never done anything where it's like I want to create a business with a friend. Like these are my business plans. I'm gonna go out and raise money.
And can I ask how come? It never crossed your mind, or maybe it did, but you never got started.
I guess I just never found a project or something that I've like had the passion to like maybe take a quarter off or two and really dive in as much as I can, if that makes sense.
Okay, I see. Yeah. No, yeah. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit, of a reference point, where you're coming from, what kind of things you've done. Because obviously, this is our first time meeting each other. I want to get to know you a little bit. And most definitely, you can get to know a little bit about me. I'm sure you talked with Chris a little bit earlier. Got to know a little bit more about him. You're one of my business partners over there at UC Merced, middle of nowhere. Not sure where that is, right? But me, I'm based in the Bay Area. I actually live in San Jose, like I mentioned before. I'm going to San Jose State. And I actually started my business when I was 18 years old in my first year of college. And the reason for that was because I was looking to make money. To be honest, just to be very frank enough, I was looking to make money because I actually come from an immigrant background. Like I'm very similar to Chris, where my family came to this country with no money, no English. So it was, and especially living here in the Bay Area, it's very expensive. I'm just like, man, I had to do a lot more, but it was never a burden to me because family's got to be one of my biggest values. So it was never out the way. But I started working very young, and very quickly I got a glimpse that it's not what I want to do forever. Obviously I can get a degree, I can get a good job, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be tied down to the 9 to 5 lifestyle, and that's not what I'm looking for. So that's why I understood that I needed something else to separate me from the rest of the crowd. I was very interested in success and wealth building. I used to listen to all these successful people, and they used to say their biggest regret was not starting something sooner. So I'm over here at 16 years old. I'm like, if I start now, I can get ahead of everybody. But I feel like similar to like you said, the problem is finding the right thing and staying committed to that. Because I look for any type of way to make money. My main things were I started a clothing brand, a few of my friends, those same friends, we also did a bit of drop shipping. Um, didn't end up working out. This is why, I have a high standard now on who I call my business partner. Because what I learned from those experiences is that, someone will tell you that they're in it for the long run, and slowly and slowly, when things are down, people start disappearing. So I understood that I really need to have the right standard for who I call my business partner. I lost faith in a lot of people, which is why I started doing something on my own. My main hustle was actually day trading. Are you familiar with like investing in the stock market?
Yes.
Do you do it yourself?
Not day trading, I would say, but like I put a little bit in every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I was because, like I said, these successful people said they wish they invested sooner. Okay, I'm getting ahead of everybody. I actually wasn't even old enough to open an account. I had to ask my mom for her social security number because I was 17, right?
Yeah.
But I was that serious about wanting to make money. And similar like you, what I did was take $200 off my Taco Bell paycheck, and I would go invest into something. But something that my mentor told me now that absolutely changed my perspective, he told me that if you still have a job, pay for your investments, you can't call yourself an investor because what you're doing is gambling. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
The stock market is not in your control. And, after 2 years of day trading, making money, losing a lot of money, I felt that, right?
Mhm.
And I realized that I did not want to gamble my money away. So I was looking for something. I was looking for opportunity, which was when I enrolled into San Jose State. I skipped the community college and anything like that. Not because, I didn't want to save money. It was because what attracted me the most about San Jose State, the heart of Silicon Valley, is that there are unlimited connections that I could make.
Mhm.
I knew that I didn't know so much. I had my limitations, but here in such a big city, people know a lot more than me. I wanted to know what they were working on. I wanted to know who can help me, who I can learn from. And in my first semester, like I said, I got exactly what I was looking for because that's where I met my business coach for the first time. And she's the one that helped me start and grow my business and currently helping me and Chris scale our business up. And the thing that impressed me the most about her was during the time when I met her, I was only in my first year, right? Like I said, I was 18 years old. She was a senior ready to graduate. And what impressed me the most was that she made more income from her business, her side hustle, than her actual job at the time.
Yeah.
And that really hit me because she was in accounting. And at that time, I was studying accounting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, she's where I want to be, but she's making more money on the side. I needed to know what she was doing.
Yeah.
So similarly like this, I got a chance to know her. She was a complete stranger to me, but I took the chance because she has something that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you right now, when we sat down, I had a lot, worse of an attitude compared to you. And I definitely, I can tell you're someone, good carries himself very professionally. But like I said, me back then, I was on my first year. What did I know? But I told you, I was looking to make money. But after taking some time, getting to know my business coach, her educating me about how our business works, how it can align with my goals, she invited me to this huge business seminar. It was in SoCal. Uh, we drove like what 6 hours, 7 hours to attend that event. Let me ask you: have you ever been to like a big professional event like that before?
Yes, but it's more of like companies that come out. If I mean, like a big career fair,
like a job fair.
Yeah, yeah, it's more been like that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm used to as well. Because as college students, we don't get too many chances to go to a big event like that. All we get really is that career fair, that job fair.
Yeah.
But this was a big, business conference, and I told you I was in my first year. My tie is not even on right. I was looking around and I see all these professionals, right? People well done with their college days, well into their careers, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with my life. So I started having a little low self-image. I'm like, wow, do I even belong here? Let me tell you, it didn't last long, right? I'm not the type of guy to beat myself up. It didn't matter to me because it was at that event where I met my mentor for the first time. And I feel like this is the most crucial thing that separates me from somebody else. It's not that I'm the sharpest guy. It's not that I know the most. It's that I was connected to somebody successful pretty early, which is why having I feel like mentorship is the main reason why, like you said, most people don't get started with anything. It's because they don't know what they're doing. They don't have someone to guide them. Like what's the easiest way to cross a minefield? It's to follow someone who already went through it.
True.
But mentorship is something very hard to get up there, and I want to talk about that later. But back to when I met my mentor, he was the speaker on the stage at that big conference, and obviously he's got to do something to earn that title. They don't let just anybody on stage. When I heard him share his story, it absolutely changed. It blew my mind because he came to this country. He was an international student. He came from Vietnam. I'm not sure if you know where that's at. Somewhere South Asia, something like that. He came from Vietnam, and just like my parents, he had no money. He had no English. But unlike my parents, he wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. He was living financially free. And I wanted to know how he did it. He told the story about building this business. He was able to walk away from his job at 22 years old. I was like, wow, I've never even seen that before. Do you know anyone who can walk away from their job at 22 years old?
No, I've seen people start stuff or never walk away.
Exactly, right? Being able to fully be supported off your side hustle, your asset. That's freedom right there. Well, maybe not freedom, but you can at least, I would love to tell my boss that I don't have to come into work today. I would love to just not be on somebody else's schedule. And that's what impressed me the most about him. It's not just his money, but his freedom. Just his freedom, but his family's freedom. He retired himself at 22. He retired his mom at 23. He retired his dad at 24. And he sponsored them to fly over and come to this country. I was like, wow. I was very impressed. But my second thought, again, I don't know anyone who retired that young. I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, wait a minute. If you were able to retire yourself at 22 years old, are you some type of scammer? I mean, can you blame me for thinking?
No, I mean, that's my first thought too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all I see, on social media is like these scammers stealing credit card information. I thought he was doing something like that. And because I don't think there's any other way that someone is able to achieve something like that. That's what I was thinking. But because I went to that event in person, I had the chance to ask. My coach, she had personal ties with my mentor. They actually came from the same country. So she was the one that helped me sneak around backstage at that event so I can get a chance to talk to him one-on-one. Any question I could ask him. Because when he comes down off the stage, everyone crowds around him.
Yeah.
Hear your question. But I had the chance to one-on-one backstage. And I told him that's what I was thinking, so that's what I asked him. It's like a combination of two thoughts that I was thinking. I told him, like, hey, Phil. Oh, my name's Phil, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I was like, hey, Phil, I saw the results you created in this business. I respect the success that you have, but I need to be very clear about something. that I need to know that as long as what you're doing is legal, as long as what you're doing is ethical, those are two big things for me. Can you teach me? Can I learn from you? Can you be my mentor? Can you show me what you did? That's what I asked him. And I mean, you want to know what he told me?
What do you say?
He was like, okay, Tona, first of all, many people ask me that same question every single event. So my question to you is, what makes you different from everybody else? Why should I mentor you over them? And that question had me stuck. He had me frozen. You know, I can't even lie. He had me stuttering because, I mean, if you really think about it, in a room full of professionals, what makes a fresh or any college student different from somebody else? That was a hard question because it most definitely was not the resume. It was most definitely not the grades because that's what I try to show him. You know, my little experience at Taco Bell, Dunkin' Donuts, something like that. What I try to show him. He told me straight up that your resume tells me nothing about you, and I agree with him. Right? You know, I feel like it's very misleading. For example, right now I work in sales for Meta. You know, Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meta in sales, so I have that on my resume. People look at that and they're like, "Wow, you know, this guy, you know, good salesman, right?" You know what it doesn't say on my resume though? That last month, I think every single day I came to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I might call off the day of. You know, like sorry, you know, I got priorities, right? You know, they would love to see that on my resume.
Yeah.
They would want to know that, right? Thankfully, like I'm glad it doesn't say that on my resume, right? But basically, you know, the reason I'm saying that is because it only says so much about it. And then my mentor made it clear to me that what he was looking for was not somebody's achievements. He wasn't looking for somebody's accolades or their experience or what they've done before. Because I asked him that, Phil, you know, I don't know what makes me different. How can I separate myself from everybody else? And then he told me what he was looking for in a business partner. He was looking for somebody with accountability, someone with integrity, someone with character, someone that match what they do with what they say, somebody with vision, somebody with ambition, somebody who's communicative, someone with transparency. Those were the things that mattered to him. And I mean, if you put yourself in his shoes, if you were a successful person and someone was asking you to mentor them, what would you want in a mentee? I would want the exact same thing. So that's why you kind of noticed so far. I mean, I don't know how long you guys have been in the Zoom, but I'm sure you guys haven't talked so much about business yet. You know, I'm not sure if that was like the expectation coming in, but the reason is because, like I said, I have a high standard on who I call my business partner. I even have a high standard on who I even share about my business to. And I feel like the most important part of that is getting to know somebody. And equally, you getting to know me, right? Because I don't know if Chris mentioned to you about our selection process, you know, where we take a chance to evaluate a candidate to see, is this someone I should share the business plan to? Is this someone I should connect to my mentor? Is this someone I feel comfortable building business with for the long term? And equally, you should be looking at us thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Who is Chris? Who is Tona? Who is his coach? Who is his mentor? What are they promoting? What are they doing? Those are the things you want to look on as well, which is why I'm very grateful, you know, that we have the selection process because it allows both sides to check things out before they waste any time.
Very true.
As any, you know, opportunity even thinking about doing business, right? So throughout this time, like I said, it's a chance for us to get to know each other a little bit better. It'll also be a chance for us to educate you a little bit about our business model and how it works, right? How we can align with your goals. Because, you know, that's obviously something, you know, like I said, I got started when I was 18 years old. Sure, I was day trading, sure, I was working young. I did not know anything about business, right? So that's just a little bit about, you know, our selection process and a little bit about, you know, where I come from. And, you know, Chris has a very similar story for me as well. You should get a chance to ask him for his. But I definitely want to hear from you now, right? Because, like I said, I talk to a lot of people about business, about mentorship, and I love every opportunity, right? Because I don't know about Stanford, but I know here at San Jose State, what I see from my peers is that they're so stuck in the moment. You know, they're so caught up with the drinking, the partying, the smoking. And don't get me wrong, I used to do all those things as well, but I'm very willing to put it all aside. I'm very willing to give all that up to focus on something that actually matters. And I respect people who do the same. It's not common, right? I don't see it often. So I wanted to ask, the fact that we're even sitting here today says a lot about you. I wanted to ask, what is it for you? Or what kind of motivates you to do something different compared to everyone else?
Yeah, I guess I've my whole life I kind of been looked at as like, people expect certain things out of me, and I know my parents, like that story right there, it impresses me. Like I aspire to do that as well. Retire my family. I see my mom and dad work. They put me in places where I'm even allowed to have conversations like these, meet people that want to own their own business, also want to retire their parents. So all those sacrifices and whatnot, like I appreciate them, and I try to work just as hard as I ever can, especially now that I'm at a school like Stanford or in college in general. So
yeah, definitely. Are you did your parents go to college, or are you first gen?
My dad, he got his associate's degree, and my mom did go to college, and she actually got a couple master's degrees. But she always says like they just can't take, they can never take your education away, and I truly do believe that.
Yeah, no, definitely, that's great to hear. Because I know for me and for Chris as well, we're first generation college students, which is we're doing something that's kind of never been done before. And like you said, even an opportunity to attend not just to any type of school, a university, a college, whatever it is, it's truly a blessing. I wanted to ask, what do your parents do right now?
My dad, he actually, testing cars for admissions. He actually runs a bunch of. He has like the contract for the state of Maryland and DC.
Oh, okay.
And my mom works for the. She works for the government.
Oh, she works for the government. Okay, wow. Can I ask then what? And you're choosing to do something on your own, right? Why don't you kind of follow their career path?
I mean, I guess my thing is like that career path is kind of always open. Like my mom could just help me out or something, or I could just work for the government or do something after an internship where I get a return offer, which would just always kind of be there. And I always enjoy getting out of my comfort zone. I was telling Chris, like, I'm from Maryland, and I went to Georgetown Prep, which is like a very big feeder school for Georgetown University. So not that many kids just from Maryland go to California. So I just constantly like doing stuff out of my comfort zone. So this kind of just follows in those footsteps.
Okay, wow. Okay, I didn't even know you came, from Maryland. Me and Chris actually.
Yeah. So
we visited Maryland once.
I was sharing that with him.
Yeah, we went to Baltimore. We went actually twice. Wow, and you came from Maryland. And how long have you been here in California?
3 years. Yeah.
3 years. Okay, I see. Okay, yeah. No, I just kind of want to get a little bit more information. So you said that they kind of help you out a little bit. Is that something you would want to do? You see yourself doing in the future?
I honestly have no idea what I want to do, to be honest. So I just try and get as many experiences as I can and go from there.
Okay, yeah. Because when it comes to, for me, I kind of look at my success backwards, right? I kind of plan out what my life will look ahead and see, how I can kind of get there. Because what I see from college students and when they pick their major is that, they pick the one that'll bring them the most money, right? They'll pick the one that they like, right? Like, let's say someone likes engineering, they'll pick engineering. I have a business partner who really likes, the medical field. He's studying to be a doctor. For me, it's like the opposite, right? I can tell you, I study in finance. I hate numbers, right? I actually, even own a business. I don't even like I don't even like business, right? But the reason for that is because I looked at my lifestyle ahead and I asked myself, what do I want? My mentor asked me, how do I want to live my life? I told him I wanted to be a CPA, I wanted to day trade on the side, and eventually live off my investment. He told me that was wrong answer. He didn't ask me what you wanted to do. He asked me how you wanted to live. And I got to see it from his perspective that his definition of success is more than just the money. Because you can have all the money in the world, but what was really a more important commodity is somebody's time. And that's something that really stuck with me is that his definition of financial freedom is not just money, it's time and it's peace of mind. And when I think about that, that's how I want to live my life. Because I told you, originally I wanted to be a CPA, an accountant. And I really looked ahead of, okay, aside from the money, once I have the money, what else do I get? As a CPA, what impact and legacy am I leaving behind? What personal development am I getting? What chance do I have to make quality relationships? What time do I even have to spend with my family doing the things that I love? As a CPA, you spend your time counting other people's money. I want to count my own money, right? So I understood that there were certain values in life that I needed to, strive for. My goal was to buy my mom $1 million home here in California. My goal was to buy myself a red Lamborghini, one of my dream cars, right? But my mentor told me those goals were too surface level. He told me it wasn't enough. And I asked him what he meant by that. And again, I got to hear from his perspective. His goal was more than just buying my mom a house. Because if I'm still stuck to my 9 to 5 job, what time do I even have to spend with that house? Not much. So I wanted to be so successful that me and my mom don't have to work. We can spend any moment we want in that house. My goal is to not just buy the red Lamborghini, but it would be to drive it anywhere, not just to work and back home, getting stuck in traffic both ways. That's not how I wanted to live my life. So it really raised my standard on what success truly means. And when you look at all of those values that how I want to live my life, like I said, money, time, and peace of mind, because with that time I can spend with my family. I can play video games, right? I like doing that. I can watch football. Love watching football, right? That's what I want to do. I don't want to come back to work the next Monday. So it's all these true values on how I want to live. And when I look at every single career path, it's not on track to get all of those. As a CPA, medical field, as an engineer, nobody is on track to get the life they truly desire. It's only the lifestyle of a business owner that can get you all of that. That really stuck with me. That's why I decided to major in business. That was before I learned that you get taught business by teachers, right? Not by a business owner, not by someone who's ran a business before, by an employee. That still doesn't stick right with me. That was before I knew that, but now I understand, why my mentor is so valuable to me. Because to be honest, everybody dreams of living that type of lifestyle, right? When you're young, you want to do anything that you want. You want to have the time, the freedom to do anything. But I feel like somewhere along the way, people give up. People decide it's not possible. People decide that, it's not obtainable. And don't get me wrong, I can tell you from my, almost 2 years now building business, there's been many times where I thought about quitting. I thought about giving up. I thought about doing something else. I thought about following the crowd. I thought about just, going back to my old ways. But what really keeps me going is, like I said, thinking about that life, thinking about my family, thinking about what I can put in now to have later. And I feel like the reason most people aren't strong enough, kind of like me, to continue to push through all the struggles, to push through the negativity, to push through the downtimes, is they don't have that example of what freedom is. I'm so lucky to have not just a mentor, but I have local here in San Jose. He owns a house here. I visit him very often. And just seeing that the way that he lives is a reminder to me of what I want. He's the type of guy to wake up at like 5 p.m. every single day. And the first thing he does is play with his 2 cats. No way, right?
Yeah.
But that's how I want to live, right? One time I drove him to the airport. I remember he posted his ticket on the group chat. I was the first one there. I drove there. I was like, Phil, you need a ride? Everyone came after me. Like, Phil, you need a ride? I'm like, nope, I got here first. So I had to spend an hour with him driving into the airport. I learned a lot. Completely, made me think about some things that I talked to him about. But at the end, we got to the airport. I'm like, Phil, where are your bags? He didn't pack anything. He buys everything when he gets there. I was like, wow. I drove home with no music that day. Just straight thoughts. But
Crazy.
like I said, it's these little examples that I see a lot. It's a reminder to me. And this is what I mean about mentorship, is because most people don't have something or someone like that. Like, let me ask you, do you have any experience before when it comes to mentorship?
Um, yes, but more in the academical sense, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, because uh, another question I ask people, which is very similar to what I can ask you, is who do you go to talk about your future and your finances? And similarly, I hear people say they're professors, they're counselors, someone at school helping them. And yeah, that's what I hear often. So, but I like how you were able to differentiate that it's only academic, because I ask people, okay, maybe that's the person you go to. What if you don't even go to that school? Or what if it's after hours? Then where's your help at? Right? They can only help you with so much. Because the person that I went to, it wasn't even a counselor, it wasn't even someone at school, it was my dad. He was the one that I went to because he was the only one that I had. But then I asked myself, is he qualified to give me advice? And the answer is always no. I love my dad. He did so much to get me here in this country with the life that I have now, but he's not qualified to give me advice. Why? Because, like I mentioned before, he's still working. Even right now, he's still at work, living paycheck to paycheck. Obviously, it sucks. It's not what I want for myself, which is why I don't listen to him when it comes to my future, my finances, right? Most people, okay, the professor, the counselor, that's what you want, right? Most people settle down like that because they don't know, right? What's really out there. When it comes to mentorship out there, it's very expensive, right? It's very expensive because, why should somebody help you? What incentive do they have? For your counselor, for your teacher, for example, it's because you're a student there, right? For my dad, the reason he's helping me is because I'm his son, right? But in reality, nobody will help you unless you pay them, right? Unless there's that. Because like I said, I used to do day trading. What I used to see was, I would watch YouTube videos. It would be like some stock nerd, he used to talk a little bit, and at the end, he's like, "Oh, buy my $1,000 course." I'm like, okay, and I clicked off the video. But that's in reality what mentorship is like. But the reason I'm saying all this to you, just to see if like you have the right expectation of what mentorship is. But I can tell you about our selection process, you won't have to pay anything. If this guy Chris tries to ask you for money, let me know. Because not supposed to, right? He's that type of guy too, right? He'll ask you for like a quick 20, but don't give it to him, okay? Because he's not supposed to, right? I mean, let me ask Chris. You didn't pay anything throughout your process. No. I went through the same process. I took Chris through the process, which is why I wanted to. Like it would have been so easy. No, I definitely did not take it. Me too. I went through the process. My coach never took my money. The $5 I had in my wallet was still mine. All right. Yeah. But the reason I'm saying this is because just people have the right expectation. They're like, oh, I have to put up so much money. When it comes to our selection process, you're not paying with money, but you're paying with something else, which is time, which is attitude, which is communication. Those are the things that we expect, right? And obviously, this is our first time meeting each other, so there's a lot more to be covered. But I just wanted to set that expectation real quick. But I also wanted to ask at this point, did you have any questions, any thoughts on your mind you'd like to share out at the moment?
Yeah, I do. My first question is, are you and Chris like business partners in the sense that like both of you all are in business together? Like, do you operate on the same business team? Or do you each have your own separate businesses and you collaborate?
We're each independent business owners, but we are, currently working on scaling up our business, which is the reason why I've been helping Chris, which is why the reason I'm here today, to talk with you as well, because my goal is not just to help Chris start his business. My goal is to help him succeed. Right? At one point, he was just like you, learning, understanding what this business was, and once I cleared it up to him, that came the next problem. How do I build it? How do I scale it up? So this is what I mean by I'm looking for the right business partner. Not just someone who is ambitious, but someone with the right attitude. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then what is the business e-commerce? Like, what is the...
So our business model is e-commerce and franchising. Are you familiar with that?
I understand e-commerce, not franchising as much.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that real quick. So what do you understand so far about e-commerce?
I mean, just like the buy and sell aspect of it. I wouldn't be able to sell a whole business model at all.
Okay, yeah. So definitely, as the e-commerce platform, what you are is a middleman, right? Yeah. You is your job to connect your products and services and everything else you have to offer to people out there, consumers, right? So what I love about e-commerce is it's completely different from industrial age business, because what I used to think about when I heard the word business was big buildings, offices, inventory, employees, startup costs, all these things like that, right? But when it comes to e-commerce, all you need is one of these, computer, right? And this is how you see that e-commerce is kind of taking over this world, right? Because when it comes to e-commerce, all you need is two things. The first thing is technology, which is how everything is able to operate online. The second thing you need is networks. You need networks to bridge. Like one of the most successful, not just e-commerce companies, actually the most successful taxi company is Uber now, right? Let me ask you, does Uber, like I said, Uber's number one taxi company in this world, do they own any vehicles?
No. People register their own cars.
Exactly, right? What about Airbnb, the largest rental property company in this world? Do they own any real estate?
No, people register their own house. Yeah.
So the largest taxi company in the world doesn't own a single taxi. How do they do it? It's just technology and networks. That's it. Because what is Uber's two networks? All they own is the platform, and they connect two networks, someone with a car who needs money, someone who needs a ride and is willing to pay for one. As Uber, that middleman, bridges the gap. Same thing for Airbnb, same thing for Netflix, for YouTube, for every single e-commerce company. So, like for Uber, for example, right? Let's say you bought an Uber, I was your driver, and when you paid, I got 94% of the money. And Uber, the company, only got 6%. Who makes more money?
In the small scale, but large scale, yeah.
Exactly.
6% for X amount of drivers.
Exactly. Yeah. Every transaction that goes on the Uber app. So that's pretty much what e-commerce has come to be now. So very similarly, when it comes to our products and services, it's our job to connect it to the network out there, right? The people customers, the consumers, whatever it is. But if I told you you had your own e-commerce platform, access to your own products and services, does that sound like you can make passive income?
It depends what the product would be and how knowledgeable I would be in it.
It would depend on the product, it would depend on the service, it would depend on, people, if they love it or not, right? Let's say you're able to build a large customer base. That sounds like you can make passive income?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, most definitely, right? Okay. What about generational? What about retire yourself at 22 years old?
I couldn't imagine that right now. So
a lot harder.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot harder. Borderline, I would rather work two jobs, to be honest. But luckily, we don't just focus on our e-commerce platform, but like I said, we both focus on franchising our platform out, expanding our network. Because when it comes to franchising, I mean, your famous franchise, right? McDonald's, Starbucks. Let's use McDonald's, for example. Let me ask you, you think McDonald's makes the best cheeseburger?
No, they're just everywhere.
They're everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And they make by far not the best cheeseburger. I think I could make a better burger, to be honest. But like you said, they are everywhere. That's because they franchise their business out. Now that they franchise their business out, the question is, how are they able to do that? Because you go to McDonald's, like I said, the burger is not the best. It's actually very cheap. Very cheap. It's very simple. They hire what, high schoolers to flip burgers at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's so easy and it works, not just that it's easy, but it needs to work. They open another McDonald's and make it the exact same. It'll work. Another McDonald's, exact same. It'll work. It's simple. It's cheap. Anyone can, kind of do it. And that's how they got a McDonald's pretty much in every country now, or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's definitely the power of franchising. So when it comes to our business, I'm not saying what we do is easy, but it's simple. Very simple to learn, very simple to understand, very simple to do, very simple to teach someone how to understand, learn, and do. So eventually, when you scale up your business of e-commerce platforms, leveraging networks, eventually, if you scale it up, build it the right way, it won't need you anymore. Because, like I said, today, I joined Chris to help explain a little bit more about the business, but eventually, he can do it himself. He won't need me. What does that mean for me? I'm going to the Bahamas. I'm going to Fiji, right? No, but seriously, what that means is freedom, right? So obviously, you see me now putting in a lot of work and effort for my business, but one day I plan on it being able to make money while I sleep, while I travel. You know why? Because that's exactly what it's doing for my mentor. And because he's doing it for him, that's why I feel so confident that I can do it for myself as well. Because he's the one helping me, right? So does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm. And then do you, as an e-commerce business, I guess, what two gaps do you bridge?
So, like I said, we have different products and services. That's something we're going to talk a little bit more next time. But we focus on kind of like the health and wellness market. Because what I look for in e-commerce business, I told you, back then I did dropshipping. Have you ever done, are you familiar with dropshipping?
My friends were really big into shoe reselling, but
shoe reselling.
Yeah,
similar like that. Okay,
yeah.
Similar concept. For me, it wasn't shoes. You know what I focused on? It was these little fidget toys.
Mm-hmm.
These little trendy products, right, that people wanted. And for a brief stint, I was able to sell a lot of those until it got out of style.
Yeah, it's just not trendy anymore. Yeah.
And then guess what? I was stuck with everything.
Yeah.
So there's certain products that are only, like you said, trendy, are only available at a certain time. There's other products that aren't so much in demand. Let me ask you, when was the last time you bought yourself a new phone?
Probably every 2 years.
Every 2 years?
Yeah.
Right. Well, what about a new laptop?
I've had my same laptop since freshman in high school, yeah.
I've had this laptop since college, my first year in college, right? So
yeah.
A long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like everyone's buying a new laptop, a new iPad every single month. What I look for in a product line is something that people will always continue to come back to. There are certain products that people will always continue to use for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And what that gives me so much confidence in is on my website, there's something for everybody. There's something I can connect, I can help bridge the gap to any single person that I know that I talk to. But an important thing you want to look at is, like I said, what are the products and services? Another thing you want to look at is what is the quality of them. But that's something we're going to talk a little bit more about next time in terms of the key components of our business model, because what I just explained to you about e-commerce and franchising, that's like the most surface level way I can put it, to be honest. That's kind of just like scratching the surface. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into our business model, and that's something we definitely want to go more into detail with you about maybe next time, right? I'm not sure how long you guys have been sitting here this, but obviously we don't want to spend too much more time. Let me ask you, how are you feeling, about it so far?
Oh, it seems really interesting. I know a couple of my friends, Stanford in general, it's like startup central, so everybody's doing something. So
right?
it was interesting to hear about the business you're doing and your business model as well.
and I feel like the business itself. Remember, I told you I got started when I was looking for opportunity, right? Because I did day trading, everything like that. It didn't work. I was looking for something else. I got in because I wanted to make money. But I feel like the most valuable part that I got from this business opportunity, yes, the business itself, but it's been the mentorship. Because I always believe that it's not so much about the business model, it's about somebody's mindset. It's about how much of an entrepreneur they are. Someone like Donald Trump, for example, could go bankrupt and be a millionaire again. Well, someone else could win the lottery and go broke in a month. So I never thought so much it was about the business opportunity. Like obviously you can be successful day trading, you can be successful drop shipping with a clothing brand, whatever it is. I feel like what people are actually missing is that mentorship. Is having someone to show them how to do it. And I feel like that's been the most valuable part. Our mentor, he just did a seminar, right, Chris? What,
Yeah,
last week? Oh, it was on
yeah.
Saturday,
It's on
actually. We got a
Saturday.
chance. We got to connect everybody to him. It's a crazy opportunity. Every chance that he gets to do something like that. But yeah, I'm just talking a little bit about mentorship. I can speak highly about it because I feel myself as one of the biggest products of mentorship. I don't know if you've heard so much about Chris and his background, but I know he came from kind of like troubled backgrounds, 4 star, around like a lot of the wrong association, not the people you want to surround yourself with. And the fact that, you see him carry himself so professionally now. You should see him over there at Merced. He runs their business club, right? And it's like it's a complete transformation on who this person even used to be. And when I look in the mirror, it's the same thing for myself. Because when I started my business at 18 years old, I was a complete introvert. I was the shyest person in the room. Can you tell that from me talking?
Not at all.
No,
Exactly.
not at all, right?
Yeah.
Most people can't because they, it's not how I present myself anymore, right? And I feel like it's something I would have never pushed myself to do. Only my mentor, only my coach could push me to do that because they were the ones that told me, okay, if you stay an introvert, you can still get a job, you can still get a degree, but I need to know how will you communicate with your wife? How will you communicate with your kids? Because divorce is so common nowadays. The number one reason is because two grown adults aren't able to communicate with each other.
Very true.
And that really stuck with me. I've seen it all around my life. It's not something I want to repeat. It's not something I want for my family. So I understood in the most, I'm a very logical thinker. Or someone gives me the most logical reasoning, I can use my own critical thinking to evaluate that. And that's what definitely pushed me out to change that way.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I can speak all day about it, right? But like I said, I think it's something you really need to see for yourself. And I know a few of our business partners come from similar backgrounds. I know biomedical engineering. Maybe we can introduce you to some more people. But I know this meeting went on for a while. Like I said, we should definitely set up a time. We can meet up again, talk a little bit further in things. But before we go, I actually wanted to send you out some material because our mentor, he makes a lot of educational videos, like podcasts and things like that, where he talks a little bit deeper about the entrepreneurial mindset. He talks a little bit deeper about financial literacy. I mean, I see the wall of books behind. Are you at the library?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
I thought you were just here.
I thought you were just huge on reading.
No. It's not my personal library, but I'm in the Latin building. So
okay, yeah,
I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Are you a big reader yourself?
I try to be. Not as much now I'm in school just because the studying, but I really do try to be.
Me as well, right? Because if I were to speak completely honestly, I hate reading.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like reading, right?
Me three.
But yeah, I hate reading. But I push myself to do it every single day until it became a habit.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, I hate reading, but it'll feel weird if I didn't read a day. It'd feel weird if I go to sleep that night. Okay, I didn't read. And we focused a lot on, like I said, financial literacy books, personal development books, different things like that. And we actually wanted to send one out for you. And the thing about this book, it's written by a very successful author. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. Have you heard of him before?
Yeah, I think he's
Okay.
he's like a big podcast guy.
Yeah, I believe now he is, but
Yeah.
he started his career as like a writer. He wrote a very famous book. You probably heard of it. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I think he's like really big on like living in debt. I think.
Living in debt? No, he's a very successful entrepreneur. And
I thought he's always like talking about like using debt to your advantage or something. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
I think that might be someone else, or it might have been, maybe another thing that he's published before.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But
yeah. So he makes different, books and materials about, financial literacy. Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of his most famous books. That's why I was saying, if you've heard of it. But he wrote another book, and it's called The Business of the 21st Century. And there he talks about, some of the similar mindset as Rich Dad Poor Dad, but most importantly, he goes more into detail about our business model. He goes more into detail about the kind of business model that we use. So I wanted to send that book out for you. Kind of like we have a PDF for it, and it's actually the shortened version of the book. It's a long book. It's a good read. I definitely recommend for you to read it. But the PDF that we have is kind of like the highlighted key points, right?
Gotcha.
So we wanted to send that out for you because I think it'll give you a little bit more, obviously mindset, but a little bit more perspective on our business model, and maybe it might clear some things up. It might bring some more questions. So definitely during that read, if you have any questions, feel free to write them down, and we can definitely go more into detail about it next time. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Sounds good. Okay, so I believe Chris, you have the link for the file, right? If not, I think I can send to you. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah. So we'll send that out to you. It's only around like what 80, 90 pages, 70. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But I mean, with school and everything, how long do you think it'll take for you to finish it?
Maybe like probably 3-4 days.
Okay, wow. So hey, not much of a reader, but
no, I mean, I can read like 25 pages a day.
Yeah, when it's something interesting, right?
Yeah.
You actually want to put, not like a school textbook. Or
yeah. Exactly.
All right, school textbook got you messed up. But yeah, we'll send that out to you. And then, like I said, whenever you finish, have some things ready. We can maybe talk a little bit more about it next time, and we'd be more than willing to kind of sit down again, go further in detail about our business model, kind of explain to you how it works and how it can align with your goals. Good.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, other than that, got anything else?
I guess my last two questions would be, my first one is, are you at a point in your business where you find that like each month or each 2 weeks that you're paying yourself? And my also question is, you talked a lot about like the trajectory of being 22, retiring your mom, 23, a lot like your mentor. Can you see yourself ever, since joining, you being on that trajectory?
Okay, yeah, I see the question here. Okay, so for me right now, I'm 20 years old. I am, like I said, I started my business at 18, and I was very impressed to hear how my mentor did it at 22 years old. Obviously, it's a crazy story, but once I finished the process and got to a little bit of understand, it was clear to me that the fact that he was able to do that speaks a lot about him, because he was willing to put in more work than absolutely anybody. And he kind of had like that immigrant hustle. Like I said, he came from Vietnam. For him, it was do or die, right? Like he absolutely was locked in. And if someone is able to do that, they should go ahead, right? They have that much confidence. For me, like I said, my business started as a side hustle, something on the side, right? Which is why right now I work 2 part-time jobs. Like I said, I work in sales for Meta. I also work at Levi Stadium where the 49ers play their football. I have those 2 jobs, and I also go to school, right? I'm still obviously studying and finishing up my degree in finance so I can go and work in banking. That's, obviously my main plan, which is why I'm building my side hustle on the side. But eventually, like I said, once it'll scale up to a point where it doesn't need so much of my time and effort, I'm going to tell my boss I don't need to work today. I don't need to work tomorrow. I only need 3 days this week, actually 2 days this week. But obviously, all of that time and more effort. So I'm far from that, right? If you know anything about business, right? It takes a while to even like do you know how long it took Amazon to make their first profit?
Oh, it was more than 10 years.
Like 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 years until they made their first profit. And obviously, that's when it comes to industrial age business. What we're building is, something much more different, but it's very similar in the sense where you kind of have to delay that gratification. You kind of have to put things aside and, see it in the future, right? Because right now, everyone will tell me, okay, you're wasting your time, you're wasting, your efforts. It's not something you should do, right? Obviously, they say that when you're building, right? It's like the pipeline. You ever heard the pipeline story? Where like two guys, their village and the well, they went back and forth carrying buckets of water with from the well to the village, and then one of them decided to build a pipeline, right, to transport the water. So during that time, during 9 to 5, they carried buckets, but the other guy went to sleep. The other guy, he was building the pipeline. He spent day. They told him, "You're wasting your time. Go sleep. Go rest." But once he finished, the water was able to transport with no effort, and the other guy was still carrying buckets. So anything long lasting,
Takes time.
yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And people don't see it when you're building it up, right? People only see like, hey, look, I thought you were a business owner. I thought you were rich. They have that kind of expectation. They have the wrong expectation of when it comes to business. Because I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of ups. There's going to be a lot more downs.
Yeah.
Way more downs than ups. The question that really separates, someone successful in business and someone who's not is, are they willing to go through that? Are they willing to endure that until they see the success? Most people aren't. That's why you see a lot of small businesses fail out there, which is why, like I said, that's something really important I look for in a business partner. So like I said, right now I'm still, investing a lot of time, effort, even some money as well into my business. But it's not like it's something I'm not. It's not something I'm doing blindly, right? It's obviously something very calculated about. My mentor, he has that game plan. The question is someone willing to follow?
Gotcha.
Everyone's got a different story, which is like I said, if you ever get a chance, maybe to come around, meet some more of our business partners, you definitely get to hear from their perspective, because we're only sharing to you as college students, right? We have, full-time workers building this business, professionals building this business, immigrants, people born here, whatever it is. Everyone has a different reason.
Gotcha.
And it really gives you, a different perspective every time you get to hear. That's why I said earlier, I love hearing people's stories. Because maybe someone's interested about the money, maybe someone's interested about the mentorship, maybe someone wants to make a legacy, an impact on this world. Whatever it is, I respect. Right? So, I don't know, did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. It helps a lot. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, after today, I definitely, enjoyed our conversation. It's like I said, it's not often I get to talk with somebody that's like-minded, and I would definitely, would love to, hear more from you. So like I said, Chris, you can kind of send out that video, and we would love, to kind of meet up again and to keep our discussion going.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sounds great.
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to add on a little bit, add on to what Tona was saying, and maybe add in a little bit of my perspective too. I know, like, you just asked that question to Tona, but I definitely say for me, that like me, I'm on that like my mindset, I'm on that track to actually be financially stable, by the time I graduate. So I'm in my second year right now. I know, if I keep delaying my gratification, if I keep putting the work, the time into this, most likely, hopefully, I'm gonna be like just like my coach, where I'm making more money through the side hustle instead of my professional job, and so that's the goal. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But yeah, I mean, from the looks of it, I mean, you've been asking a lot of questions, and I feel like that's really good, because just like me and Tony were saying, we talk to a lot of people, like every single day, and some people are like, oh, I don't have any questions. Like, I'll talk to you like another time. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, no worries, But we actually like this. We like people, who ask questions, because it shows us, obviously you're interested, but that you're gonna have that open communication. So I kind of wanted to ask, if you'd be interested in maybe like, setting up a group chat, with you, me, and Tona. If you have any other questions that arise, we can maybe, be there. We can help you, answer your questions. But also we can kind of just stay in communication there, if anything goes on, you can just shoot us a text there or something like that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And another quick question. Um, do you use like Facebook or Messenger?
Not necessarily, really, particularly just LinkedIn.
Just LinkedIn? Okay, for sure. No, yeah. I just was asking because that's kind of like where like I said we communicate. Like we use Messenger. That little platform just to kind of make our group chats. I'm not sure if you'd be interested in maybe downloading that so we can kind of stay in communication, staying in touch through there. If you're comfortable with it. If not, we can use like our mobile or our numbers for now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, perfect. Trevon, I mean, it was nice meeting you, and then I mean, yeah, just I'd say make a Facebook account if you don't have one already, and then
Mm.
you could just share with me there through LinkedIn, and I can send you the material there, send you the book there, and yeah, the book I can send you the shortened version because there is a long one that's I think a few hundred pages long, more than like 100 pages. I can send you the shorter one. It's around like 50 pages. And yeah, I mean, just like it took me like I think like 3 4 days. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome meeting you, and yeah, thank you, Tona, enough, for adding some value and getting to know Trevon more. But yeah, I mean, this concludes
Most
it.
definitely. No, it was I enjoyed that. I definitely keep going, right? So definitely, whenever you finish any questions, let us know. I'm gonna set up something else, all right?
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, birthday?
I'm a basketball guy. I play basketball a lot. I got a couple. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You watch
Yeah, big Warriors fan. Big
Oh,
Warriors
Warriors
fan.
fan.
So I really know.
Oh, okay.
I really.
Let's get it.
Well, I'm also Warriors fan from the Bay. Yeah.
We all have that common basketball team.
Yeah.
Chris isn't a hooper.
Cat. I actually used to play basketball when I was what? I played it for like 3 years. I did it like 2 years in middle school, and then I did it my freshman year too. But then I stopped, and I actually went into wrestling. So like, I'd say like I'm more into wrestling. Like
Yeah, you went into
yeah,
wrestling.
I did wrestling. I was
Yeah, you went
150.
into wrestling. I like basketball. I actually played football. That was my main thing.
All three
Gotcha,
different sports.
gotcha.
Yeah, I played football. He was in wrestling, and I guess you're a hooper. Okay, yeah. So athletes, right? I love the athlete background.
Yes.
Yeah.
You already know the discipline, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
It helps a lot. It helps a
Exactly.
lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, we'd love to see that. And yeah, maybe we can hoop up sometime, right?
Oh yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great
Yeah.
conversation too.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right,
Have a
then.
good rest of your day, guys. Nice seeing you.
All right,
See ya.
bye, guys. Have a good night.
All right, see you guys.
Boom, cha, cha, chicka, cha. Oh, that guy's sharp.